You're listening to India Bio Speaks, your one-stop resource for science, news and careers.
Hello and welcome back to In Conversation with a Mentor, a series of conversations with some path-breaking mentors across the life science community. I am Vijeta Raghuram, the Program Manager Education at India Bioscience. And the guest of this episode is Bimalendu B. Nath, an Emeritus Professor of Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Bimal has been teaching genetics, evolution and biodiversity for nearly 3 decades and is actively involved in science outreach programs. He is currently the Vice President of the Association of Teachers in Biological Sciences and is working along with his colleagues to create a platform to motivate biology educators. His passion and active involvement in science pedagogy for the school and undergraduate students is well reflected in his writings in scientific periodicals, journals, and e-magazines. Hello, Bimal, and welcome to In Conversation with a Mentor.
Hello. At the outset, thank India Bioscience for inviting me for this podcast. It's a privilege.
Bimal, you are a researcher, educator, an author, and an administrator. Which role is closest to your heart and why?
I enjoy each of these facets of my profession, but I'm very passionate about teaching. And research does not interfere with my teachings. Of course, there is a lot of administrative work to do, but finally, at the end of the day, it's the teaching and interaction with the students make me feel happy and I get the job satisfaction. My students often say that I was born to be a teacher and a mentor. Perhaps that's the reason why I enjoy my role as a teacher and a mentor more than anything else.
Tell us the story behind your career journey. What made you choose this path? And were there moments in your life that you would call turning points?
Quite often, one can get motivation from bad things, that happen to one's life. I was born in Meghalaya and I grew up in Assam. My father had a transferable government job, and so I studied at many schools in different places in Assam and Meghalaya. And in my school days, bad and unpleasant experiences motivated me to make a difference as a teacher, which I am now. And I wanted to change the culture of learning environment. And when I got my job in Pune University in 1992, I made sure that my students should never feel the way I suffered in my school and college days. Now, to answer your query about the turning point in my life, I'd rather say that there was not a single turning point and no two directions in my life were ever the same. I always faced an uncertain future and there were too many hurdles. So instead of a single turning point, I experienced many twists and turns. In this context, I would love to mention 6 mentors, who influenced me to shape my future professional life. My association with my BSc teacher, Mr. Mohanlal Zaigidar in GC College, Silchar, Assam, affiliated to Guwahati University, was phenomenal. He helped me to discover life in life sciences. It was really phenomenal for me because I used to, find those school board textbooks, lifeless. Although it was a textbook for life science or biology. So he brought life to my life science, the personnel curriculum. Later on, I moved to Vishwabharati Central University, Shantiniketan, West Bengal, to complete my master's in life sciences. And I met Professor Sameer Bhattacharya. He triggered my interest in biochemical pathways, and he was instrumental for me to choose my specializations in environmental physiology and biochemistry. And then I worked as a MSc dissertation student under Professor Shelly Bhattacharya and late Professor Ashit Baran Das. So Professor Das introduced a book to me, which I would like to mention. The title of the book is Strategies of Biochemical Adaptation, by Peter Hochachka and George Somero. And till today, I can tell you what is written in any of the pages you can ask me. Influence of this book went far beyond my doctoral and postdoctoral tenure and made me what I am today, a researcher in stress biology. When I met Professor Subhash Chandra Lakhotia and decided to work under him for my PhD in Banaras Indian University, the influence of that Hochachka and Somiro's book helped me to rationalize my philosophy of my doctoral work. We call it PhD, doctorate in philosophy in some subject. And my postdoctoral mentor, like Professor Devi Prasad Barma, played a key role to enjoy science in real sense. So Professor Sabir Bhattacharya, Professor Lakhotia, Professor Barma turned me onto a different level of intellectual path. So the book by Hochachka and Somero and my mentors had a profound influence in my career.
Bimal, you have had a long and ongoing stint in the education sector. What is your philosophy of education?
As a teacher, I must provide my students a positive learning environment where they feel loved and wanted. Okay? And a teacher should know that each student has a different learning strengths with a different learning needs. As for me, I have never discriminated one student with the other. That was the bad experience I mentioned, one of the question you asked. And so I have never discriminated any student with other students sitting in the classroom, because all students can learn and succeed, which I believe, but not on the same day, and also not in the same way. This is one thing, it's my personal philosophy of teaching. Slow learning, I must tell my teacher colleague, the slow learning is not a learning disability. One should understand. Okay, we always look for bright students. Oh, this student is very bright. We glorify, and then we create a kind of the social, discrimination in the classroom, and then many students suffer from inferiority complex. I never do that. I don't believe in applying Darwinian principle in the teaching learning process. I don't want to create a classroom environment where there is a struggle for existence, in the Darwinian sense. Yes, I must, as a teacher, prepare the students to compete in the future career, but I must understand the heterogeneity of the student population and deal with them very sensitively. Okay, so I must deal with different cohorts of students differently. I must understand. As a teacher, I have a job of harnessing the potential of bright, talented students. True. But I have a challenging job also for the slow learners. And I love to teach so-called, the backbenchers. Teaching slow learners is challenging, but I can tell you it is incredibly rewarding if one succeeds.
Bimal, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced so far as an educator?
Let me share my experience as an educator in biology. I restrict myself to biology. Yeah, I encounter students who are at the tertiary level of education system, which includes undergraduate and postgraduate students. And many students opt biology by default and not by choice, mostly because they fail to go to other branches due to relatively higher cutoff, which is demanded for the qualifying marks. So the many students, they end up in biology and they find this biology a boring subject and end up mugging up. So I teach undergraduate students who are enrolled for 5-year integrated course, and also master students in zoology, biotechnology. And so every year I struggle to give some of these students who had chosen biology by default, not by choice, so that they gain a greater appreciation, because I alone cannot change the textbooks. And that's why and also the curricula, if you look at some of these textbooks and like for biology at the secondary level of education, I feel helpless because it is only loaded with information that there is nothing to understand. The conceptualization is missing. There is no clue. The student starts, the self-study without a teacher. So they will end up, finding these books very monotonous.
And now the pandemic has brought in new challenges. Overnight the education shifted to online mode. So how are educators and students coping with these sudden changes that have been brought by the pandemic?
This has been an unprecedented situation. Routine classroom-based teaching learning has been suspended due to prolonged lockdown and other restrictions in order to check the spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19. So it has been a real challenge for all of us to shift from offline classroom to online mode and even conducting exams. So in this context, biology as a discipline poses a number of challenges, which I feel, which are not generally encountered to that extent by the teachers of non-biology disciplines. For example, we are yet to find out how to execute online laboratory-based exercises in biology, especially for like real-time observation of living entities, okay? Like we have the model organisms and a microscopic observation, real-time microscope observation of changes in the cells, microbes, and other physiological things, which we conduct in the laboratory-based, exercises, which we call practicals. And another challenge is like, the biology teaching, life sciences in general, there are many field-based studies. So field-based studies, ecological surveys, it's very difficult to online. I have no clue, but maybe there are many suggestions coming up. But we are yet to find out online learning for laboratory and field-based exercises. So this is one of the challenges yet to be, they met and find out answers.
So how do you mentor students and help them maintain a positive mindset in the face of all of these challenges and goals of education?
My primary objective is to create an ambience and positive learning environment. Teachers are influential in students' lives. So it becomes a rewarding profession when we take them along the way in their educational journey.
Could you suggest a few actions that educators and administrators could take to address these challenges?
Let me answer your question in two parts. And I'll restrict myself for biology students in particular and for biology educators. First of all, we need to revamp our classroom teaching methodology. Dumping of information and memory-based data can be minimized. It's important because without information, you cannot synthesize the knowledge. So that's important, but we should minimize and there should be a proper balance. And at the undergraduate level, I'm referring to undergraduate level. So we need to devote more time to help the students to build up their mental map, to appreciate the complexity of the biological phenomena. Visualization is another way of making the dynamic nature of living world and living processes interesting. We generally say seeing is believing. And so visual learning, so visual aids are very, very important, okay, for the teachers to include in their teaching. Now, second part of the suggestion is related to students' community in the COVID-19 pandemic, this scenario. The students across the states all over the India, the situation is same in other countries too. They're suffering from something what is called the COVID fatigue. And there are serious concern about their mental health. So their attention span has reduced, which I have realized it during my online lectures and when I meet them. So we as a teacher needs to be creative and incorporate breaks and some type of recreation. I'm saying that, okay, like what I have done in one of the teaching, the long hours of teaching, I said, okay, next 10 hours, let us watch a video which will explain what I have explained so far. You will see the things in an educational video. So they just relax and see, and then I come back. So this type of breaks in online teaching, maybe, they warranted now. Otherwise, there will be serious, fallout of their COVID fatigue.
Bimal, you are the Vice President of the Association of Teachers in Biological Sciences. Can you please tell us about the purpose and the work done by this association?
Yeah, I'm a founder member of Association of Teachers in Biological Sciences. Our aim is to create a platform for teachers in biological sciences to contribute in biological education. So ATBS, that's the Association of Teachers in Biological Sciences, along with Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, from Mumbai. We organize exposure camps for biology teachers, conferences, and many other resource camps. And ATBS publishes an e-newsletter, Biome, that is the Biology Education Messenger, Biome. And I'm one of the editors. And this Biome, through Biome, we try to motivate biology educators in India. And the newsletter is available online, like anybody can get access to it. So I hope this small effort by ATBS will create, we can sensitize or create awareness about the challenging needs of biology in education right now.
Bimal, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey, your work and thoughts with us. You raised some very pertinent and yet somewhat less addressed and less appreciated issues with the current higher education system. And we hope that your thoughts and experiences will inspire educators as well as administrators to view the process of teaching, learning, and mentoring in a fresh light. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, India Bioscience, once again for giving this platform and the forum to express my thoughts.
Thank you all for listening to India Bio Speaks in conversation with a mentor. We look forward to receiving your comments and feedback.
If you're passionate about scientific research, communication, outreach, and science education as we are, please connect and engage with us, and here are some ways that you can do so.
Visit our website at www.indiabioscience.org.
Subscribe to our newsletters.
Write for us and join our online discussion forum at discuss.indiabioscience.org.
Advertise jobs, grants and events in the life sciences on our website.
And feel free to contact us anytime at hello@indiabioscience.org.
Until next time, enjoy your science and stay engaged to enable change.